Hey, nice to see you. You're the new recruit that's being added to our team, right? Cool. Come here and I'll give you the rundown. I'm sure you've watched the Republic City broadcast of pro bending before, but you've never participated, have you? That's what I thought. Well, okay. First things first, there's a lot of little details that you need to pick up on before you ever step onto the court. One of the biggest ones for a beginner is that we're limited to projectiles. Strictly projectiles. For a firebender, that means I can do a flame whip or an arc off of a kick, but I can't say do a continued flamethrower from my fist, or a waterbender can't do a constant fire hose of water from the pool beneath us, that kind of thing. You signed up as an earthbender, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So you're limited, both fortunately and unfortunately, to the stone discs that are provided up through the center of the arena. These discs aren't exactly flashy, but trust me, you get hit by one and you're gonna feel it. The discs hit more than hard enough without you need to add any enhancements to them or change their shape. I've got more than enough bruises to confirm that. Oh, that reminds me. Next point. Try and roll with any attacks that you can't outright defend. As an earthbender, you can kind of use your discs both offensively and defensively, which is something that me as a firebender I cannot. But you need to sort of keep your movement lateral, left and right, not forward and back. Well, mostly not back. Because as you know, if we go back, we're going to lose territory. We lose territory, we get closer and closer to the edge of the arena, and then we end up going off the side once we're out of space. So if you can move left and right and not bump into me or our other teammate, then the better. This game specifically rewards aggression and ferocity from both teams. If you're knocked on your ass with the first whip of water that comes your way, then that's just a moment of tempo that we just lost as a team, and me and our third contender have to try and make up for that. I've been in the game for about 5 years now, and I can assure you, not many teams come back from that kind of crippling, I guess. It's rare. It's very rare for 1 or 2 people to take out 3 or even a 1v3. But it's very, very rare, as I said. So, anyway, as I was saying, try and keep your movement to left and right as much as possible. Or even move it into a roll or back or front flip if you think you can do it. I know that kind of dexterity is asking a lot of an earthbender, but I've seen folks do it, and I believe in you. You got to this point in the competition. If you're managing to move and dodge or impact left or right, then yeah, correct. And that also ties back into what I said about the game rewarding aggression. Working together as a team and not stumbling into each other or trying to act as a one-man, or, well, I guess, one-woman army in your case, the better. If we open up with a specific tactic, it's a common one. Oh, of course. The Fire Ferret Flurry is pretty simple for a beginner to work with the rest of their team. It opens with a sweeping kick of fire from the front line, that'd be me, and then you follow it up behind me as the earthbender with a set of discs, going left and right at about stomach level. The enemy team then does one of 2 things. Either A, they dodge directly backwards as far as they can without losing territory, and try to send up a counterattack or a block with their own elements. Either way, the discs are still also following up my first attack of flame. Either way, the discs are still following up my flame, and if you can nail them in the breadbasket, it's going to knock the wind out of them. Can't bend if you can't breathe. Yeah, exactly, good thinking. Even if they do manage to somehow block the disc with their uniform or soften the blow with their bending, getting slammed with a stone frisbee going pretty damn fast, it's not really going to hurt, and their bending is going to start getting sloppy the more and more sore they get. Again, there's rules against, what's the term they use? Unnecessary roughness, I think, is the exact wording. But, which is again like pelting somebody with stones or, again, trying to drown them right there on the court, which I've seen it. The referees don't let it last very long, but I've seen it. But not every single fight gets to be our one-round knockout. A lot of fights, well, you gotta get comfortable with the long haul of 3 rounds to try and whittle down your enemy team. If you try and blow them out in the first round, then you're just gonna get either A, sloppy, or B, exhausted. That's why we train here in the gym so much, after all. So we can still be standing at the end of that 3rd round while the enemy benders are all staggering around their court. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. Breathing control is also very, very important for perbending. I know the headgear looks uncomfortable as heck, and it really is, honestly. But it's the only protection you've got for that pretty face of yours that's going to keep us from taking a water whip to the cheek or losing your eyebrows to a fire blast that got a little too close. Again, there's rules against that kind of thing, but accidents happen. It's a sport. It's just part of it. So it's better to wear the protection and then better safe than sorry. But since we're stuffed inside these uniforms, especially the helmets, you kind of got to make sure you're not breathing or hyperventilating super heavily into your headgear, which is going to fog it up, first of all, and second of all, make you lightheaded. It might feel like you're trying to get as much air as possible, but you're not going to be. The best, technique, I guess, would be to breathe in through your nose and then back out through your mouth in sort of a rhythm. It also helps to keep your heart and your, I would say your chi flowing a little smoothly, if that makes sense. You want to keep everything in harmony as much as possible when you're perbending. Here, let me show you. Just like that. Another good tip is, if you can manage to do it correctly and you don't have a burst of bending coming your direction, it's best to try and let loose with your breathing at the same time as you're bending. So with you, it would be throwing a disc and exhaling at the same time. That way you're not floundering and trying to suck in air as you're trying to throw a disc at the same time. It just causes a mess, and believe me, the more balanced and focused you can be, the better. As an Earthbender, you get a small advantage, since you can use the discs, as I said earlier, to both attack and defend or counter an enemy attack at the same time. Which means me and our waterbending partner on our team, we both had to start fresh with a bending technique to either attack or defend, which gives us a couple seconds of sort of telegraphing the move before we actually get to do it. So that puts us at a slight disadvantage. Of course, I guess at the same time, you could say an Earthbender's discs are pretty easy to see when they're rising up out of the floor, but that doesn't mean that the enemy team knows if you're going to turn them flat to catch a fire blast or whip them horizontal with their kneecaps or something. That hurts, by the way. That really, really hurts. But another point that I want to make up with you as an Earthbender is you've got to know what you're firing at. Like, again, that's why we wear the belts and the headgear too, to identify the element of the enemy benders. Certain elements are going to have a better time against opponents. For example, if you're whipping your stone discs at a firebender, like me, then you're probably going to have an easier time cutting through their flame if they're not focused enough. But on the opposite hand, the disc might get shattered by another Earthbender, which you kind of just had to square up and go toe to toe with, or again, let one of us handle. Or the discs might get shattered or dissolved by a waterbender who's got just enough kick to their motions. Waterbenders are seen as elegant and fluid, but believe me, they can really pack a wallop with those water whips. A good example, actually, of that move would be the Rabaroo Rumble from... Oh, you want to show me something? Kid, you've only been in this gym for a grand total of 10 minutes, barely. If you think you're going to be able to step into the ring and show me something, then I know you're excited. I do. But you gotta remember, I'm the professional here. The veteran. Well, I have to think of myself as a veteran. Fine. Step in the ring and just try not to hurt yourself, alright? If any of these moves look like they're something, or at least close to something that I'm familiar with, then we can try and max up with something in the playbook. You're the Avatar. The Avatar is signing up for my pro bending team. Wait, slow down. You mentioned that you're from the Earth Nation, right? That's why I just automatically assumed you were an Earthbender. Yeah, I guess that does make sense, actually. Avatar Korra was the last member of the Avatar line, and she was from the Earth tribe. Or, Water tribe. Look at me, you got me all... Here, I thought I was the professional. Oh, man, that display of bending was... Oh, okay, I had to sit down. Oof. Okay. I'm not terribly familiar with the rules relating back to the Avatar, but I do know from the few matches I've seen of when Avatar Korra participated a couple years ago, well, some decades ago now, that the Avatar is locked to whichever element they sign up with. For you signed up as an Earthbender, again looking at the green belt you're wearing, so you're unfortunately locked to Earth. I get the feeling that if you tried to break out of that, then you're probably going to get a yellow fan as a warning, and if you keep pushing it, which is again doing the bending or manipulating the bending of your opponents, then you're probably going to get a red fan and get kicked off the team. No, there's no replacements. We wouldn't get a third for that. So we would have to compete then 2 versus 3, and that would just be a bad time. So try to just stick to one element, okay? Thanks. Man, why didn't you tell me you were the Avatar when you first came in? I would have changed the entire training, regimen I had lined up. I wonder if they'll let you compete as a different element in different matches. Like fire one match and water another one. Their rule specifically states that you can't change elements in the same match, but it doesn't say you can't change it in between matches. So I wonder. As far as I'm aware, Avatar Korra only ever bended with water in her entire career. But just because she did, that doesn't mean you have to. I'll have to talk to them about that. As I said, I've never worked with an Avatar before, so I don't really know how flexible the rules are. Though that does give me an idea. You can bend with all 4 elements, I guess. We've had a couple of airbenders come in, sort of, but it's still really difficult to sort of work it into the pro bending regimen after being gone for so long. So, but anyway, you can bend with all of the elements, which means we can spar in the ring, and we can work on our offensive and defensive maneuvers against all of them at once. There's no rule against that. And the refs can't exactly limit our training just because I've got the Avatar on my team. So, what do you say, Avatar? You want to show me some more of those moves?